Hi, I'm Venus O'Hara. Oops, my throat. And welcome to another day of Vlogmas. Today is day 11. And someone asked me the other day to talk about how aging affects your sexuality. So today I'm talking about sex and aging. And I have given actually workshops about this topic, but I do not feel that I am an expert in this at all. I'm still lacking personal experience in aging, which is great, but it's good to know what's going to happen before it happens. And I find that I have many questions myself about how things develop, or how things, for example, menopause influences your sex life, and whether it's a good idea to have hormones or not. That's something that I do wonder. Let me just write down something down. I'm going to bring up in a minute. Ooh. Okay, so sex and aging. Well, sex definitely changes as you age. I think I would equate it to, at different ages of your life, you have different hobbies. I remember when I was a kid and I was, playing with dolls, and then you get to an age where the dolls are just not interesting anymore. And I think the same happens with sex. Like, say the sex you were having, let's say, in your early 20s might not be the type of sex that you want to have when you're 30s and 40s, etc. For example, in my experience, what happened was, I think a lot of people do define sex as penetration. And that's, if you're with people of your age when you're about, let's say, late teens and early 20s, then a lot of my boyfriends at that time of my life, we could have like sex 5 times a night, use 5 condoms, and I'd be like, ah. And there's this huge emphasis on penetration. And then when you go with guys who are a little bit older, they can't do 5 times a night, and then you have to kind of change it up, or maybe you're having focusing less on sex in general, and there are other parts of a relationship. But that's something that I really noticed when I came to Barcelona. Actually, I just left a young boyfriend in Madrid, and we were having marathon sex. And I came here, and I was with people who are a lot older, and I was like, okay, I'm ready for the second time now. What? No second time? And I was kind of like still up for it. So that's something that I noticed as well. And also I found that over time, I think people are more allured by things like sacred sexuality, such as Tantra, Taoism. And I think that's something that's quite interesting when you are, for me, my personal opinion, when you're in a relationship and you want to kind of like get deeper with that person and really slow it down. Because I believe that sex is not something you just feel in your body. It can be a heartfelt activity. It could be intellectual if you are sapiosexual, if you like BDSM and the power dynamics that can be common in that. Or it can be a soul experience if you're into Tantra, sacred sexuality, Taoism, etc. So what I think is interesting is to transcend the physical and let sexuality come into other areas of life. And that's where it can be very interesting, and it can be very interesting to explore that with someone else, definitely. And once you kind of go into those different depths, the kind of just superficial 5 times a night thing doesn't seem as appealing. So yeah, that's my personal experience. And with regards to menopause and aging, I definitely have lots of questions about that still, even though I've researched it a lot, I've asked experts. But if you are interested in that, I would recommend checking out my podcast interview with Susan Bratton. You can find that on my other channel, The Orgasmic Lifestyle. I have a whole episode on my podcast called How to Age Orgasmically with Susan Bratton. And then if you want to just see the video of the interview, then you can actually, if you're a visual person, then that's also on my YouTube, the other YouTube channel, which is The Orgasmic Lifestyle. And she's very interesting because she shares everything she knows and everything she's tried. And there's so many things that you can use post-menopause. And, I'm into natural living, and I'm a whole foods, plant-based vegan. I only use natural cosmetics. I'm just really, really into organic food. However, I am open. I don't have any pharmaceutical products here at all, but I am open to the idea of BHRT when I do hit menopause. And that's something I really would like to explore, because I do think that hormones really affect your personality, and they can affect how you see a partner. I mean, you just look at the menstrual cycle, it's like you're a different person every day. And I don't want to be without my sexual hormones or my sexual self, because it's a huge part of who I am. And also, I wrote an article about lubricants for menopause, and in my research, I was horrified to discover that the lubrication or lubricants was something you would use not just for sex, to avoid painful penetration, but also for everyday use, because it was kind of dry and uncomfortable. I was thinking, oh my God, I'd rather just take a couple of hormones and just kind of stay juicy. I know that sounds really maybe naive, or I don't know how it sounds, but that's my own philosophy at this moment of time. And I remember reading this book, Sex for One by Betty Dodson, and she was also very natural. She was a vegetarian, and she wanted to do the menopause in a natural way. But in her book, then she describes when she started taking HRT. I don't know what time of year or what era it was, but then she said that she got juicy again, and I was like, okay, it's sold to me, definitely. So that's something I would like to discover. But actually, next time I have my period, I'm actually going to have lots of hormone tests, which is going to be interesting. I don't have any menopausal symptoms yet. I'm still very, very, very juicy. And I have a very regular period. Everything is fine. But I have private healthcare, so it's kind of cool to get some different analysis and just see what's happening in my body. I'm really interested about that. So the next time I have my period, I'm going to be checking that out to see how far away I am. And I think it's very good to have, to actually know what's going on in your body. I think it's so, so, so important. Because if I got to a time when, let's say, I felt myself, things becoming irregular, or I was, finding some discomfort for hormonal reasons, I would definitely be open to finding solutions for that. And I would also try, natural solutions as well, just to see what works best. But solutions nonetheless, I think I would approach it in 100% natural way. Unless something changes in terms of the knowledge of menopause. I really believe that there's not enough, people talk about it, but they don't really, I don't think people are aware of what's available to them. And also with the male side of aging, I recently interviewed the CEO of FirmTech. I would highly recommend checking out FirmTech. And I met him in Berlin recently at the Sex Tech convention, where I was giving a talk about autoerotica. And he had this graph which was just about ED at different ages. And it was like 50%, 60%, 60 years old, 60%. I was like, oh, I just saw this graph and I was like, I have to interview this guy for my podcast. And I did. And he's come up with this device. He's created this device that tracks nocturnal erections, because your nocturnal erections are very much linked to your cardiovascular health. And also this device that you wear, not only does it track your nocturnal erections, but it also can enhance your erections and improve your experience, your sexual experience. So that's something that I think is really important. But in either case, male or female, however, whatever your approach is to aging, I think it's really important to have a willingness to have the conversation with your partner. I mean, I know someone I know, his wife got to menopause, and it's like, okay, no more sex. I don't feel like it anymore. And it was like the door's shut, and I think that had a massive effect on their relationship. And I think you have to acknowledge that things are changing, and just talk about how you're going to deal with that. Of course, sex is not just about penetration. You can also do other things such as kissing, hugging, massages. I mean, there's just so many other like sensual activities that you can do, especially if you're getting older with like more aches and pains. You get a big wand massager, massage someone's body, get some coconut oil. There's just so many things to keep sensuality alive and that body-to-body contact. So I think that's very, very important. But the most important thing is willingness to address and acknowledge what's happening and try and see if you want to do something about it, natural or not. So yeah, that's the most important thing. So yeah, those are my reflections on sex and aging. But for me, I think it's important to be informed about what's happening in your body, and to be informed about what's happening and informed about what you can do about it. That's it. Yeah, but in any case, what I have learned from the people that I have interviewed about this, who are older than me, so they're already going through it, is that it's not the end of sex by any means. It can actually be the beginning. So that's something that's very, 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 very inspiring. So what about you? What do you think about, what is your attitude towards sex and aging? And if you are of a more advanced age or you've gone through menopause, please share with us, because I think a lot of people would love to know the answer to this. I know I would. Anyway, thank you for watching. And if you have any questions about sex, sex toys, relationships, lifestyle, or anything else I talk about here, then don't hesitate to contact me at venus@venusahara.org, and I'll be back tomorrow with some more Vlogmas. Thanks for watching. Mwah.